Hey friends, thanks for joining me. Here's another video to help you explore endlessly, play wildly, and connect deeply. Today I'm bringing you a Vinyasa flow, running about 60 minutes long, and this one's actually really special to me because I taught this at Base Coast Festival. This one I sequence with a lot of big side body openers, heart openers, some transitions through side planks, which I teach a lot, and it really is a nice, stable, strong flow. A great way to build stability in the shoulders, stability in your low body, core stability. Of course, there's always mobility mixed into our vinyasa practices and into our yoga practices, but expect a lot of stability in this one. All right, you may want 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, all good, you can make it work, but they're never gonna hurt. Let's jump on in, hope you enjoy. So we're gonna start in a tabletop position. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, middle fingers at about 12 o'clock and knees under hips. Take an inhale, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone. On your exhale, tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin. Move through 3 more rounds of cat-cow with your breath. Two more. Last one, big deep inhale, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone. Lengthen your exhale, round in. Bring your hands so your fingers face away from one another. The closer wrists are together, the bigger the stretch. So if you feel this and it's a big stretch through your wrists, maybe take your hands a little further apart. Take an inhale in one direction as you draw a big circle. And then exhale second time around. Here's 3. Inhale. And 4, exhale. Change directions, inhale. And 2, exhale. Here's 3, inhale. And 4, exhale. Awesome work. Come back to a kneeling position. Do your best to keep your toes pushing down into your mat as long as you can. Interlace your hands, send your palms forward. As you do, exhale, round in. And then inhale, send your hands up. Move your spine through extension. Exhale, send hands forward, tuck chin, round your spine. Inhale, lift up. Looking for space through our midline, our spine, our ribs. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Last one. And let's bring it up. Awesome work. Sweep your hands to the top of your mat. Find that tabletop position we were in previously, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Take your left leg, elevate it, float it off your mat, step your foot outside your hand. Lighten up on your inside hand, walk the right thumb, line it up with your big toe. Take that hand almost to the edge of your mat, then push firmly through the right hand, untuck your back toes, kick down into your mat, and take your left leg back, assisted side plank. So while we're here in our first side plank of the day, we're supporting through our back, knee, and shin. Now, if it feels wobbly or unstable, it helps to take your bottom hand towards the edge of your mat. Use your glute and your floating leg to lift the leg a little higher, reach through your toes, your toe mounds. Finding stability through our planted shoulder. Bend your floating knee, catch big toe edge if it's available. If it's not, maybe take little toe edge. If you can't quite find your foot, just bend the knee and float. But once again, if big toe edge is available, catch that big toe edge and kick into your hand, opening up a little bit more. Wrap your bottom elbow in towards your body. This helps generate more stability, more torque in our shoulder joint. One last kick into the hand before we transition back to the top of the mat. Let your foot go. Slowly step your left foot back to the top of your mat. In this kneeling position, bring your hand back inside your front foot. Low lizard lunge. Moving around a little bit here. Just exploring the hip, looking for a bit of space. And then step your left foot back, tabletop position. Opposite side. I'm going to elevate my right leg, float it off my mat, slowly step my right foot outside my right hand. Keep your front foot at the edge of your mat. Walk your outside hand, your left hand, to the edge of your mat, lining your thumb up with your big toe. Untuck your back toes, kick them down into your mat. Use your back leg for stability. Wrap that left tricep back, and then float your right foot back, finding this assisted side plank. So once again, there's a tendency to want to let that elbow roll out. Don't you do it. Find stability, find balance, wrap the elbow back, bend your floating knee. If it's available, catch the big toe edge, palm facing up. Start to create a little more connection there. Kick into your hand, opening your hip, your front body. Beautiful work. One last time, kicking into your hand, finding a bit more lift, and then controlling the transition back to the top of your mat with your right foot. Floating hand comes inside your foot. Tuck your back toes under, low lizard lunge. Bit of movement, side to side, forward, back, whatever intuitively feels good in your body. Good stuff. Our transition out, step your back foot forward into a squat. Feet pulling your mat apart, getting active in your legs as you slowly squat into that space. And then keep going down to a more passive squat. Look for a bit of room in your hips. Maybe move side to side. Look for some space in your ankles. And then stand tall. As you do, activate your glutes, your legs, push your feet through your mat. Standing tall, step your feet underneath your hips. Roll your shoulders up and back. Open your chest, palms face forward, Tadasana or mountain pose. Take an inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. On your exhale, hands lower through center, send your hips back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or float through Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. When you arrive, 3 deep breaths. Here's 1. For 2. And 3. The bottom of your exhale, heels lift, look top of mat, step or float. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine, hips travel back, and exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Squeeze your bum, push through toes, heels. Exhale, lower your hands. Second sun, A. Inhale, reaching tall, maybe finding a slight back bend around your ribs. Exhale, send your hips back, keep your spine long. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant hands, step or float through Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Once you arrive, check in with your hands. Push firmly through fingers, finger mounds. Wrap your triceps, your elbows back slightly. Watch that you're not overly gripping or grabbing in your upper back or your neck. And then lift your hips a little higher. Soften at your rib cage area. 1 more breath. The bottom of your exhale, heels lift, gaze top of mat, step or float. When you arrive, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. And exhale, lower your hands. Third sun, A. Inhale, reach, rise, maybe a little back bend around your ribs. Exhale, send your hips back, spine stays long, all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, exhale, step or float. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Once again, wrapping your triceps back. Feeling stable through your arms, your shoulders as you push down through your hands, your thumbs, your index rooted down through your mat. 1 more breath as you are. And bottom of your exhale, elevate your heels, look long, step or float. Once you arrive, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Exhale, lower your hands. Inhale, take your hands up, a little back bend at your ribs. Exhale, fold forward. Step your feet hip distance apart, maybe a little wiggle to take them a bit wider. Catch your big toes with your index, your middle finger. Take an inhale, send your hips back. Lengthen your spine, then exhale, pull yourself down into your forward fold. Send your elbows out to your sides. And think about giving those toes a little pull. It's almost like you're lifting your toes off your mat. 2 more breaths. Take a deep inhale into your back body. Exhale, let it all go. See if you can create a little space at your belly. And then breathe into your back body to keep that space. Let your toes go, fingertips at your mat. Take an inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, slide your right foot back, lower to your back knee. Rise up with your torso, inhale. And on your exhale, revolve your lunge, facing your front leg. So twisting to your left, maybe moving around so that you can find a stable position, a stable low body. Your front toes pressing down, your front heel rooted down. Take your right hand outside your front leg, your left hand across your back body, and deepen your twist on your exhale. Maybe out of the corner of your left eye, you can spot your back foot. 1 more breath. And as you bring it back to center, face forward, pull more of your weight over your front leg. Pivot on your back knee. Lengthen your front foot towards the top of your mat. Turn your front toes so they face the same way that you are looking. Hinge at your hip. Keep your spine long. Sit your bum back towards your right heel. Walk your hands forward into this modified child's pose. Finding more length through our left leg, the inside of our left thigh. And we're folding forward, we're breathing. I want you to hear a few more breaths. If you're familiar with the Cossack squat, it's a pretty big move. Go ahead and take it if it's available in your body. The biggest thing that's gonna either allow you or prohibit you from going is your ankle range of motion. If your ankle will let you into this Cossack squat, take it. You can use your left hand to support. You could just come up to a body weight position wherever you are. If this is too much, please remain in that modified child's pose. It's still great for finding length through the left leg. Let's take 1 more big deep breath. If you're in that Cossack squat, coming back onto your right knee, back onto your left foot, sweep your right hand outside your right knee, rise up into gate pose. My fingertips are supporting my left arm is going overhead. I'm looking for as much length through my left side body as possible. So I'm reaching my extended toes away, reaching my floating hand away. My gaze is up towards my left hand. I'm lifting my heart up. Last breath. Left hand can come somewhere around your body to support. Right hand, fingers facing the back of your mat. You're pushing firmly through your right hand. We're gonna add that extended leg, push it down into your mat. Middle leg comes through. Kick it up towards the sky. Use your muscles inside your thighs to float for 5, 4, 3, 2, land the right foot. Lift a little higher with your hips, push through your right arm, and then slowly come down to your bum. Your right hand that you were just using to support is gonna sweep to your left leg, palm facing up. Take a side bend in this wide-legged seated position. My right hand underneath my left leg, my left arm reaching overhead towards my right foot. Feel free to support your head here if this feels better. Or if it's available, you could go for your right foot. This stretch always feels so good after a bike ride. My lats don't want to let me go there, but if you can find the space, it's a good one to open up through the side body. Taking 2 more breaths wherever you are, whether you have the foot or you're supporting the head. Beautiful work. Use your inhale to rise tall. Take a look at your left leg. Bend your knee 90 degrees. Back leg, bend the knee 90 degrees. Let's twist the opposite direction. We're going to walk our hands over to the left. Find a twist through your rib cage, your low back. And then walk your hands towards the top of your mat. Pull your front foot in towards your hips. Deep bend in your front knee. Same thing on the back leg. Pull that foot in towards your hips. Deep knee in your back. Deep bend in your back knee. Excuse me. And then squeeze your bum. You could use your hands rising up into a shin box. The hips open up into extension. Hands top of mat. Shoulder width apart. My right foot is almost there. I'm just going to extend it to the back of the mat. Push up and back with the left, three-leg dog. Inland left foot by right, your vinyasa. Cycle through, coming through your high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful work. Inhale as you are. The bottom of your exhale, elevate your heels. Look top of mat, step or float. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Exhale, lower your hands. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, slide your left leg back, lower to your back knee. Inhale, rise tall with your torso. Low lunge. With your next exhale, revolve your lunge to face your right leg, your front leg. So once again, here in our revolve lunge, take your front hand outside your front leg, back hand crosses back body. Use your exhale, twist a little deeper. Maybe you can spot your back foot out of the corner of your right eye. You're not really dropping your head to look for it. You're just looking using your peripherals. Can you spot your back foot? Twist through your T-spine, your thoracic, your rib cage. Bring it back to center. Take your weight forward to take the weight off your back knee as you transition. Pivot on your back knee. Tuck your toes if they come untucked. Pivot on your extended, your right leg, so that your feet, your toes rather, are facing the direction that you're looking. From there, start to sit your hips back. By all means, use your hands if your knee doesn't agree with it. And then walk your hands forward into this modified child's pose. So my right leg is in full extension. My toes on that right foot facing the same direction that I'm reaching. Be here a few more breaths. Again, the option to go Cossack squat. I sit back into my left foot, externally rotating my right leg. You could support through your right hand if it's needed. You could just float on your legs, or on your feet rather. Meeting in that child's pose for a moment, and then sweeping your left hand outside your left knee, rise, open your hips up, take your right arm, reach it overhead, gate pose. Your gaze up to your top hand, trying to pull your heart out from underneath you. Finding as much length from your right foot, your extended toes, to your extended hand. And then take your top hand, place it on your ribs or somewhere around your midline as you set up to kick your bottom leg, your left leg through. My left hand, fingers facing the back of my mat. I'm pushing firmly through the left hand, through the right leg. Kick the left leg through. And then I'm hovering that leg. Remember, at any time, keep the leg straight, but you can bring it down. Otherwise, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Land the left foot, lift a little higher now that you have that support, that tripod. Finding length through your right side, your right arm. Slowly lower your hips. Your working arm sweeps in front of your body, left hand, palm facing up. Underneath your right leg, take your right arm, the same one that was floating, stays floating as we reach towards the left foot. Now you could support your head. You could reach for your left foot. Either or, we're looking for length through our right side. Here for a couple more deep breaths. Beautiful work. Inhale brings you up, looking towards the top of your mat. Bend into your front knee, setting up for 90-90. So a 90-degree bend in the front, 90-degree bend in the back. Walk your hands over to your right. Find a twist through your rib cage, your low back. Nice counter twist. See if with your exhale you can let go a little bit more through that space. And then walk your hands back towards your front leg. Bring your front foot in towards your hips, your back foot in towards your hips. Deep knee bend in both legs. Use your back foot kicking down into your mat. Use your hands if you need to. Rise up into the shin box. Your hips facing towards the front of your mat. Land your hands. Extend your left foot. Reach the right leg up and back, 3-leg dog. And cycle through your vinyasa. Right foot lands. Exhale through high plank, chaturanga. Inhale up dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Beautifully done. Have a breath as you are. Exhale, let it go. Deep inhale. The bottom of your exhale, heels elevate. Gaze top of mat, step or float. Halfway lift, then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Exhale, lower your hands. With your inhale, lift your left knee up towards your chest. Take another breath here. Find stability on your right foot. Find that single leg balance. And we're going to take our floating knee down towards the mat. If the mat's available, touch the mat. Otherwise, just give your calf a little tap. But take it as low as you can, as slow as you can, controlled. Knee tap, then rise up, warrior 3. A bent knee warrior 3 is a great place to start. Find your balance, find your stability. If the hands can go overhead while balancing, do so. And then slowly step to the back of your mat. Inhale, arms go up, high lunge. Exhale, send your hands forward. Interlace your hands, palms facing the way that you're looking, and round your spine. And then inhale, take your hands up, palms facing up. Similar to how we did at the start of our class. Open your front body. And then exhale, palms forward. Tailbone tucks under, round your spine. Inhale, open it all up. Exhale, send it forward. Hands forward, tailbone forward. Find that stretch through your back thigh. One more time. Inhale, open the front body. This time on your exhale, hands through prayer. Twist it over your front knee. So left elbow outside your knee. If it feels unstable, feel free to bring your back knee down to your mat. Otherwise, hold this revolved high lunge. Hands pressing down into one another, your elbows in a straight line. Use your next exhale, lower your back knee. Let it land, rise up into revolved lunge. Your torso is elevated. Take your right hand, start to reach back towards your calf or your heel. Take your left hand, give your chest a hug. If the heel is available, take a little more of your weight forward. Let your front body open up. If you feel stable, if you feel strong here, take your front hand off your chest, reach it overhead. Gaze follows. My back hand is kind of posted on my heel. It's not working a whole lot. A lot of it's in my back leg. Inhale through center. And spot that space in front of your front foot. Land your left hand. Big toe lines, or your thumb, lines up with your big toe. Elevate your back knee. Pivot on both feet. Start to heel toe your front foot back. Side plank. Stack your feet. We will get to a more challenging side plank variation, but for this first round, Let's stack our feet. Let's find our stable shoulder as we wrap our tricep, our elbow back on the bottom arm. If it's there, take your gaze up to your top hand. Woo! Bring your top hand down, high plank as you pivot on both feet. Hands under your shoulders. Core is braced, is strong. And then 10 seconds lowering down to your chest, to your hips, to your belly. 8, 7. Watch that your head doesn't run away. It stays in line with your spine. 4, 3, 2. Land your hips, your chest. Press your hips down into your mat. While hips push down into your mat, your glutes engage to lift your legs. Externally rotate at your hip, sending your legs long, your toes even longer. Inhale, elevate your chest, your gaze, and then rotate your arms to open up your collarbones, to open up your chest. Your hands will face away from you, your thumbs will face up. Squeeze glutes a little harder, one more breath. Land your hands mid-ribs, tuck your toes under, push back on your knees through tabletop, through child's pose. And then bring it forward, back to tabletop, up and back, downward facing dog. Your vinyasa, moving with your breath. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Have an inhale, let it go. The bottom of your exhale, elevate your heels, look top of mat. Step or float. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Exhale, lower your hands. Inhale, right knee lifts. That single leg balance, that single leg stability. Usually there's one side that's a little bit trickier. For me, it's this left side. And here I am, I'm in it. This floating knee we're gonna take down towards our mat. If the mat is unavailable, please just tap your calf, maybe your heel. Whatever's available, whatever feels like it's at that edge without going past. We tap, we rise up into bend knee warrior 3. I am shaking all over the place. The stability on this left leg today is challenging. Maybe I've had my feet in climbing shoes or in bike shoes a little too long recently. But I'm finding that balance, that length through my back leg, using my glute to lift, using my breath to lift my chest, my gaze a little bit higher. With your next exhale, slowly step your back foot to the back of your mat. Take your arms up, inhale. Interlace your hands, change the index finger that's on top, and extend your palms to the sky. As you exhale, round your spine, send your hands forward. Inhale, lift your gaze, lift your hands, open your front body. Exhale, send your hands forward, round your spine, and tuck your tailbone. Inhale, lift, reach, open, exhale, round, send it forward, and tuck your hips. Inhale, rise, reach, exhale, send it forward. One more time, lifting up, inhale. And then on your exhale, hands through center, find prayer, and twist outside your front knee. Right elbow outside your knee. Look to your elbows, straight line, elbow to elbow. Palms, hands pushing into one another. Once again, if this feels unstable, you can lower to your back knee whenever you're ready. Otherwise, 2 more breaths. Last one. Back knee lands. Elevate your torso, stacking it on top of your hips. Take your left hand, start to reach for your heel on your back foot. Front hand rests on your ribs, on your chest. If the heel is available, take a little bit more of your weight forward, bending into your front knee. Maybe even slide the front foot forward if it gives you more space. If you feel stable, balanced, right hand up off the chest, open your front body. Last breath. Bring it through center. Spot your landing inside your front foot. Right thumb lines up with your big toe. Lift your back knee, pivot on your back foot. Heel toe your front foot back a little bit, then slide or step to a stacked side plank. Once you arrive, think straight line, heels, knees, hips, ribs, head. Reaching overhead, stack your arms. Wrap your bottom elbow back, your tricep in ever so slightly. Whoop, if it's available, see if you can bring your gaze up to your top hand. Watch the wobbles come find you and stabilize. Pivot on both feet, left hand lands, high plank. Find your core, draw your belly button up and back. 10 seconds, lowering down. 8, 7, think rolling your shoulders back, keeping your chest open, available. Collarbones wide. 2, 1, chest lands, hips land. Push your hips down into your mat. Squeeze your bum to lift your legs. Think long rather than high. Elevate your chest, lift your gaze. Open your collarbones, locust as we squeeze together at our shoulder blades, squeezing your glutes. Option to stay here, option to take a bow pose. Bending your knees, catching your feet. By kicking into your hands, finding more lift, more opening through your front body. Keep breathing. Wherever you are, 2 more breaths. 1 more. As you lower down, keep this bend in your knee. Nice transition as hands land by your ribs. Push it back to child's pose. And take 4 deep breaths. A few more. Bring it forward to tabletop on your inhale. With your exhale, push up and back and downward facing dog. Your vinyasa with your breath. Come through high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Have an inhale, let it go. At the bottom of your exhale, elevate your heels. Look top of mat, step or float, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. And exhale, lower your hands. Bring them to your sides, palms facing forward, Tadasana or mountain pose. Take a couple breaths here. On your next inhale, elevate your left knee. Cross your left foot over top of your right thigh. Use your hands to assist, maybe find a little bit more lift. Then sit your hips back, find this standing figure 4. And try to find balanced weight on your standing foot between toes and heel. And the lower you go with the hips, the greater the stretch in your left hip, your left glute. You could assist the left knee a little bit lower to find a bigger stretch. If you feel that that left hip flexor is gripping, is grabbing, take your left foot and loosen it up a little bit, kind of move it through a couple circles. Sometimes that helps me cue my left hip crease to soften up. With your next inhale, rise, take your left knee up with you. Extend your left leg for 5, 4, 3, 2. Sweep it back through warrior 3. Straightening your standing leg, finding extension through everything through your body. In slow exhale as you step your back foot to your mat. As it lands, exhale, revolve your lunge. This time our lunge is high as we twist through our ribs, our thoracic. Once again, we've been here before, but our back knee has been down. Can you spot your back foot through the right corner of your eye? A little bit more through your right hip in this standing variation. Spot that space inside your front foot, left hand lands. Pivot on both feet, all 10 toes moving to your right. This is a pretty big stretch. If it feels too big in the right leg, heel toe the front foot back. But for everyone, it will be different. And try to keep your shoulder, your left shoulder over top your left hand. That stack will help stabilize, will help strengthen, and keep you in this posture a little bit longer. Now, if it feels a little bit too challenging to support through the left arm only, this right hand can come down and support you as well a little bit, but we're here for just one more breath. Beautiful effort. As you lift your hips, pivot on both feet. You get nice and strong through both legs. Rise up with your torso, but keep your torso in this hinged position, thinking straight line from my back heel through my rib cage, the crown of my head. Then reach your arms overhead, big inhale. And on your exhale, cactus your arms, create this W shape, activate in between your shoulder blades. Stay in this position, let your back heel chase your mat as you lengthen your calf. Bring your left hand back down, line your thumb up with your big toe or just in front. Pivot on both feet. This time the front foot goes all the way back, side plank. Our side plank this time, sweep the right foot behind you for Wild Thing. Start to lower your hips to the mat. They're gonna kiss and then open back up just for a breath. Inhale, open your chest, your hips. Wrap your left elbow back, your shoulder blade underneath you. Pivot on both feet. Spot the top of your mat. Land your right hand. Land your right foot. Downward facing dog. Your Vinyasa cycle through. High plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Great work. Big breath, let it go. If you're feeling like you need a little rest before the other side, you could pause the video here. Take a quick breath. Otherwise, let's get into it. Exhale, heels elevate. Look top of mat, step or float. Halfway lift, then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Exhale, lower your hands. Push firmly through your left foot. Lift your right knee. Cross right foot over top of your standing thigh. Sit your hips back. Once again, the lower you go with your hips, the greater the stretch. Check in with your standing foot. Try to find a balance between toes and your heel. And if you're feeling stable, you could give a little assist to the right knee to lower down to increase the stretch. And then once again, if it feels like you're gripping or grabbing in your right hip crease, find that right foot, maybe move it a little bit. Cue the hip to soften. Say it's all good. Right hip. No work right now. Let yourself chill. Then inhale, rise. Take your right knee with you. On that left side again. Woo! Extend the right leg for 5, 4, 3, 2. Sweeping the right leg back through warrior 3. Take your time. Control. Finding extension. If you feel like you're going to fall out, you can always bend your standing knee. Then explore straightening it after. And then slowly step your right foot to the back of your mat. Take your time. As the right foot lands, revolve your lunge, facing your front leg, facing your left. In a standing variation this time, moving a little bit to find stability. And then use your exhale, twist through your thoracic, your rib cage a little bit more. Look to the space inside your front foot. Right hand lands, thumb just in front of your big toe. Pivot on both feet. All 10 toes facing the left, the direction that you're looking. Supporting through your right arm, your hand underneath your shoulder, nice and stacked. From your hand, your elbow, your shoulder. Wrapping that bottom elbow back slightly to help stabilize. And if you feel the right arm fatigue, that left hand can come in front of your body to help support. If it's too big a stretch, heel toe your front foot back slightly. Last 2 breaths. One more. Awesome effort. Pivot on both feet. All 10 toes face the top of your mat. Push firmly through your back foot. Windmill your arms up overhead. Straight line from your back heel, hips, ribs, crown of your head, up through your arms. One more inhale through your arms, your fingertips, and exhale, cactus your arms as you actively pull your shoulder blades together. And pause right here and breathe. One more breath. Land your right hand, thumb in line with your big toe or just in front. Pivot on both feet, slide the left foot back this time, side plank, look for length. And then sweep your left foot behind you, setting up for wild thing. Bring your hips down just for a moment, tap your mat, then elevate, push through your feet, lift your hips, open your chest, wrap your bottom tricep back, your shoulder blade underneath you, and bring it back through. Left hand lands, pivot on both feet, downward facing dog, your vinyasa with breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath as you are, then let it go. One more like that. The bottom of your exhale, elevate your heels, look long, step or float. Halfway lift, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Exhale, lower your hands. Bring your left knee up, inhale. Left hand catches your left foot, bring it behind you, finding a bit of a stretch in your left thigh. Then walk your hand to big toe edge of your foot. Soften your standing knee, find a little bit of buoyancy. And then begin to kick your back foot into your hand. As you do, hinge slightly at your hip. Keep hinging, moving into dancer's pose. If it's there, reach your right arm overhead. Slight bend in the standing knee will help to balance. But if it's there, start to straighten. Come back to a standing position. Let the foot go, hands to hips for just a moment. And then slowly step your left foot back, finding a high lunge. Bring awareness to your front foot, push firmly through your heel. And then step your back foot forward and pivot it for warrior one. So our back foot's at 45 degrees, the front foot straight, pushing down through my front heel. Letting my hips open slightly, looking for length through the inside of my back leg. A stretch to that adductor region. And then reach your arms overhead, inhale. Feel your back toes pressing down into your mat. Draw your ribcage back slightly. One more breath, warrior one. The bottom of your exhale, warrior two. Back foot travels a little further back. Once again, find your front heel, push it down firmly into your mat. Torso over top of your hips. Your arms extended. Your back leg is strong. Your back hip is soft. Take your gaze to your front hand. Everything else out of focus. With a soft back hip, reverse your warrior. Inhale. As you exhale, straighten your front leg, bring it all the way through to triangle. But as you take triangle, awareness to your front leg and pull your femur into your hip socket. Keep pulling that hip crease up and back slightly. Land your right hand inside your front foot. If you have a block, if it will help you, please use it. And then open your chest, lift your left arm to the sky. Lift your heart up. All four limbs extended, last breath. Sweep your left hand past your hips. Bring it towards the top of your mat. Your back foot will naturally want to step forward and out. Do it. Step that back foot forward and out to set up for revolved triangle. My front foot straight. My back foot at 45. I take my left hand outside my front foot. Right hand can cue the right hip back. Revolve your triangle, right hand reaches. One of my favorite postures, both because it's challenging, but also because it offers such a nice twist through our midline. Really sets the hips up nicely. The upper leg bone externally rotates. Feels really good in my body as a mountain biker. Bring your gaze down. Right hand replaces left. Bend your front knee. Step your back foot further back. Think warrior two. And then extended side angle pose. My left arm reaches up past my hip, up overhead. And I'm pulling my front femur, my front upper leg bone back into my hip socket, creating that suction, that stability in the hip. Start to bring your floating arm to your chest for just a moment. Push firmly through your back leg. Push firmly through your right hand. You may need to heel toe your front foot across the top of your mat. We're moving into a side plank that we've been in before. My left hand grabs the little toe edge of my foot. I'm nice and strong. I'm stable through my right arm. I kick the right leg forward. Same way I'm looking. Side plank, right leg kick through. Left arm is holding little toe edge. If it's available, let the foot go. Keeping that right leg up. The left arm to the sky. Land the right leg. Fall in triangle as we open the hips, open the chest. Gaze to your left fingertips. I sweep the left hand. I slide my right foot through to my mat. Left hand lands. We're pivoting all the way around. Beautiful work. I know it's a big one. Side plank. We've been here before. Side plank becomes a wild thing. Right foot lands. My hips lower towards my mat, and then I take it back up. Open my chest, open my hips. Wrap your tricep on that bottom arm back. Slide that left shoulder blade under your heart. Our transition out is to our bum. As you lower, sit your hips back towards your planted hand. Left leg stays straight. Right knee is bent. I land, I take a moment, I have a breath. And for yourself, take a moment, have a breath. And take this right leg and kind of move it left to right a couple times. Let the hip soften. And then hug the heel into your hip crease. Option to cradle the leg, option to place it inside your left foot. If half lotus is in your practice, feel free to take the bind. Otherwise, moving towards a forward fold. This is one of those postures that I know I need to do more of, because every time I take it, it's a challenging one for me. My hips, as a biker, as a runner, just don't want to give me much space. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe I don't want to give my hips much space because I love doing those activities so much. But I try my best effort in balancing. One more breath as you are. Step your right foot over top of your left leg. Take a counter twist here for a moment. Hug your right knee into your chest. Twist over to your right. And then come back to your left. Now my hands are going to move towards the top of my mat. As we make this transition, think about your hips going up. If we think about the hips, the feet will do what they need to do. So my right hand chases the top of my mat. My hips start to go up. I keep sending my hips up, keep sending my hips up. I pivot on both feet. Take your right leg all the way up and back, three-leg dog. And cycle through. Beautiful work. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now we were just sitting on our bums, so let's get right into the other side. If you need a little extra break here, feel free to pause and take a breath. Otherwise, elevate heels, gaze top of mat, step or float. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Exhale, lower your hands. Standing firmly on your left foot, bring your right knee up. And bring that knee so it's side by side with the standing knee. Catch your right foot with your right hand. Move your hand to the big toe edge of your foot. Bend your standing knee. Find buoyancy in your left leg. Then start to hinge as your hips move back slightly. Find that connection of right foot, right hand as you kick. When it becomes more available, when the stability is there, feel free to reach your arm forward. If straightening the leg is available, explore it. Last breath. Back where you started. Hips even, then slowly stepping your right foot back into a high lunge. As you set your feet, as you set your hips, step your back foot forward and turn it out slightly 45 degrees for warrior one. Let your hips open slightly. Let your back toes land and press firmly into your mat. Feel your front heel root down. And then reach your arms as you inhale overhead. If palms come together with extended arms, great. If not, if the elbows want to bend, widen your arms. Take them a little bit further apart and look for extension through your arms, from your shoulder up through your hands. Ribs draw back slightly. Feel a big pull through the inside of your back thigh. Find more length. I'm okay if the feet want to move and find a further distance apart to give you more space, more stretch. With your next exhale, warrior two, back foot steps a little further back. Strong in your front foot, your heel roots down. Your back leg is strong, your hip is soft. Extend through both arms, gaze to your front hand. Everything else out of focus. If you explore more depth, watch that your torso doesn't travel too far forward. Keep it over your hips. Reverse as you inhale, soften your back hip. Exhale, bring it through triangle pose. Pulling your front femur into your hip socket, create that connection. Left hand lands inside your front foot, right hand reaches for the sky. All four limbs in extension. And thinking about ever so slightly reaching your left hip crease back behind you. Beautiful work. Find your breath. Sweep your floating arm past your body, your hips. Start to reach it forward. You'll feel this kind of urge to step your back foot forward and out. Do so. Back foot forward and out to help with balance. Right hand outside your front foot. Start to twist as your left hand sends your left hip back. Revolved triangle, left hand reaches. Get more of your heart up towards the sky if it's available. Pushing firmly through your bottom hand, fingertips, or block. Left hand replaces right, bend into your front knee, step your back foot further back, think warrior two. Extended side angle as you reach your right arm past your hip, up overhead. You get long through your right side, and then pull your front femur back. Find that connection of your upper leg bone into your hip socket. Pull more of your heart through and your gaze up to your extended hand. Sweep your right hand back in front of your body and let it live somewhere around your ribs for a moment. You start to heel toe your front foot out in the direction that you're looking so that your front hand presses firmly into your mat. Your back leg pushing firmly. Right hand catches little toe edge of the left foot and rise up. So we have this connection of left leg of right arm. Pushing firmly, stable through the bottom arm. Option to let that foot go. Keep hovering for 5, 4. If the foot needs to land, land it. 2, 1. Left foot lands, open everything. Fall in triangle. Scoop your left shoulder blade underneath you. Start to slide your left foot back in. Right hand lands, we pivot all the way around. Side plank. Lift, find length. Sweep your left foot back behind you. Lower your hips towards your mat. Then take your hips up, wild thing.
Your heart elevated, your hips elevated. Your right shoulder blade scoops underneath. Our transition out is to our bums sitting down and sitting back with the hips, keeping the right shoulder away from the ear. As you land your right leg extended, your left knee bent. Have a breath. Take your left knee, your leg, left to right a few times. Try to soften in the hip. Then bring that heel into your right hip crease. Option to cradle the leg, option to take the foot inside your right leg, but moving towards a forward fold. A little bit different on this side for me today. Every practice is a little different, especially dependent on how much I've been riding, how much I've been playing outside, exploring the mountains. Finding center. And take your left foot over top of your thigh. Counter twist as you hug the left knee into your chest. Reach your left arm back. And then as you twist to your right hand at the top of your mat, elevate your hips high. Remember, it's all on the hips. As the hips go up, the left hand lands. You'll feel your right foot at the back of your mat. Take your left foot up and back. 3-leg dog. And cycle through, left foot lands, your Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Have a breath, let it go. Inhale, lift your heels, gaze, top of mat, step or float. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise tall, reach tall. Exhale, lower your hands. Lift your right knee up and then slowly step your right foot to the back of your mat. Find this wide-legged position. Turn your toes in slightly, heels out just a little bit. Bring your hips underneath you. Take an inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Then on your exhale, fold forward. Land your hands, fingertips lined up with your arches. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Option to stay right here in this wide-legged forward fold. If tripod headstand or headstand is in your practice, feel free to take it. This is a fun place to float the legs up. Two more deep breaths wherever you are. If you're up, slowly coming down, landing heels first. And take an inhale, rise up halfway. Bring more weight into your arms, a little less into your feet. Heel toe your feet in slightly to give your hamstrings a bit of love. And then walk your hands to the top of your mat. Heel toe your left foot off the edge, lower to your back knee. Take your inside hand to your front knee and open your chest up. Option to stay right here if you want to reach back and take your back foot. Please do so. 5 deep breaths. Any variation here that serves you best. You might still have your hand on that front knee. Maybe you have the foot. You're coming down to your right forearm. Any option here that intuitively feels best in your body. Let your foot go. Bring your left hand inside your front foot, then heel toe it in back to your mat. Rise up on your back knee. Walk yourself through wide legs. Maybe take a little kind of twist or shake out in center. Then walk your hands to the back of your mat. Left knee lands. Right foot walks out to the edge of your mat. Take your inside hand to your knee. Open up your chest. Option to stay right here. Option to sweep back, catch your foot. Hello, where are you?
Take a few more deep breaths. Approaching the end of our sequence, the end of our effort today. And as you do, rather than letting the mind wander, keep it here, present with your breath, with your body. Notice if there's a little bit more space, physically, mentally, than when we started our practice today. If you have the foot, let it go. And then lift your left knee, wide legs one more time. Good. Walk your hands to the top of your mat, lower to your back knee. And sweep your left leg back, find a tabletop. Take an inhale. Lift your tailbone, lift the crown of your head. Exhale, tuck it in. Set your hips back towards your heels. Sweep your legs forward to a seated position. Pull your sit bones back. Lift your arms up towards the sky as you inhale, then exhale, folding forward. Wherever your hands land, let them be as they are. Your best effort here to passively fold forward, finding length through hamstrings, calves. Let your inhale bring you up. Slide your hips forward slightly. Lower to your back. Give your knees a hug into your chest. And then land your hands on your mat. Let your fingertips find your heels. First round, rising up to bridge. Wrap your shoulder blades in towards one another. Elevate your hips. Once you arrive in bridge, send your tailbone towards your heels, tucking it under, elongating your low back. March your shoulder blades a little closer. If it's available, feel free to interlace your hands underneath your hips. And then lower your hips down, palms down on your mat. Second round, option to take the same bridge pose for 5 breaths. If wheel or upward facing bow feels like it's available and it's in your practice, feel free to take that. With your inhale, rising up either into bridge or into upward facing bow wheel pose. Still breathing. 3 more. Last 2. Last 1. Slowly lower down with control. Find your backs. Walk your feet off the edges of your mat, connect your knees. Let your legs internally rotate. Take your right hand to your belly, your left hand to your chest. Bring your knees over to your right. Knees over to your left. Hug both knees into your chest one more time. If there's anything else here you want to take while on your back, please do. Otherwise, extend both legs out. Find your Shavasana. Let your chest open up, your collarbones open up. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, then soften through feet and hands. Give your legs, your arms a little flex, then relax through your limbs. Let your pelvic floor go. Let it relax. Let your abdomen region soften. Let everything be exactly as it is, as you are. And I welcome you to stay here in your Shavasana as long as you like, as long as serves you. And I'll see you next time. Much love.